Let's now discuss a step-by-step guide as to how we research on Key Quranic Words. Now, this is the session where we are explaining how we at work do research on Key Quranic Words and Ayahs. Please feel free to use whatever you deem best, to use your own methods if you find them better, in which case we would request please share that method with us as well so that we can all learn from each other. So this is just our our method. Please feel free to use whatever method you deem fit, but do share your method with us as well. So what we do is, as a first step, we take out all the ayahs with the use of the same word. Since currently there is no other source except the root word, then unfortunately we have to route this through the root word data compilation, but ignore the root word's different extensions. Look for the same word that's used elsewhere in Quran. Take out all the ayahs with the use of the exact same word. Step 2. Check each and every ayah with the use of the word. Take the whole list of this ayah, see what is the meaning of the word in that particular ayah, check the waza, check the context by checking at least the previous 2 to 3 ayahs of each word usage and the next 2 to 3 ayahs in order to understand the meaning of that particular word in that particular ayah. Step number 3, identify the common meanings or set of meanings that are used across these ayahs for that particular word. And step 4, once you have arrived at a common characteristic of any word, then cross-check the same if those meanings are applicable in other ayahs too, just to make sure that you have arrived at the right vocabulary. So we will illustrate it through different examples. The first example that we have picked is the word anhar. Again, step 1 is the same, is to take out all the ayahs. For this purpose, we are using the smartphone app, Quran Al-Tafsir. So for instance, if we want to search for the word anhar, it is used in ayah 225. So click on this word and then click for more. Do not look for the same word, and it's because of this that do not use these two words extension. These two words have different alphabets. You look for the same word. So the same word is the word nahar, which appears in Quran 54 times. So we have to take out each of these words and then understand what is the meaning of this word. So step 2, we have to take out and check what is the meaning of the word as appeared in these ayahs. So if we click on this 54 times, it appears. We have to go to all of these ayahs and check the meaning of the word anhar, nahar or anhar in plural in all of these ayahs. So for instance, if you click on 7112, this screen would appear. Check 2 to 3 ayahs before, 2 to 3 ayahs after this ayahs, just to understand the context, the waza, in order for you to understand the meaning of the word. So if you look at the meaning of the word anhar, the word nahar, plural anhar, is normally translated as day or as streams or river, but the real meaning of the word is truly reflected as per the ayah that we checked through the same illustrated process. So if you look at this particular ayah and give you increase in amwal, wealth, title, resources, properties, etc., and aulad, children, and provide for you jannat, and provide for you anhar. So from this ayah, if we translate it as provide you with streams or days, none of these meanings would apply. It seems that this ayah is talking about something that we desire or want for ourselves, just like we desire amwal and aulad, children, and jannat. Let's look at another ayah. So this ayah, and we will remove whatever is within their hearts of the resentment, tajri, provided in abundance, of tahtiha, in accordance with the anhar. And they will say, the hamd is for Allah who has hadana, guided us to this. So same here. If you look at the word anhar, and the word anhar is linked here with removal of resentment, worries, and unhappiness from one's life. And based on the above two and others, it seems that the word anhar means anything and everything that we desire and want for a fulfilled life that is devoid of any unhappiness, any resentment, any worries at all, when one is at sukoon, peace, tranquility, self-actualized state, which as per this ayah is also reflective of the state when one is as per hidayah, as guided. So if we read this particular ayat, and Allah has made therein the earth, the sabil and the nahar, so that you may get hidayah. Here the word anhar has nothing to do with streams or rivers, but is used alongside with subulan, that is sabil, path of Allah, reflective of all such things which strengthens our nafs mutmainna, wherein we are happy, satisfied, and in actualized state of mind and soul. Let's look at another ayah that we checked using the same process, the same step-by-step process. So this ayah is basically Nabi is warning his nation. And the phrase is, he said, indeed Allah will mubtala you with a nahar, then whoever sharaba, engulfed, overwhelmed and overpowered by it. So this ayah does not mean that Allah will mubtala you, surround you with day or water or river, but the word nahar includes any of those things which would be provided as a situation or condition that one craves for, that one desires for, such as amwal, wealth, title, resources, aulad, children, popularity, spouse, prestige, through which those with the Nabi, would be tested and tried in terms of bringing out the real characteristics of them. So there is a phrase in Quran which describes the Jannat, right? Jannatan tajri min tahtihal anhar. So if you look at this particular phrase, Allah is not talking about rivers at all. Tajri means will be, tajri basically means will be provided in abundance, in ample supply. Tahtiha means in accordance with, in alignment with. Anhar means whatever one craves for and desire for. This means this phrase Jannatan tajri min tahtihal anhar basically means that Jannah is the place where peace, tranquility and all ways and means which are necessary to a fulfilled, happy and satisfied life would be provided for in ample supply and in abundance. Therefore, the meaning of the word nahar, plural anhar, are all those things that we crave for, such as amwal, aulad, peace, Zoj, partners, prestige, popularity, standing, basically all those things that fulfill our needs and requirements for a psychologically and mentally fulfilled life, and nothing to do with rivers or streams or days at all. Now let's discuss another example. Again, we will go through the same process, take out all the ayahs, ignore the root word, check each and every ayah, identify the shared characteristics among all the meanings, and cross-check if the same meanings are applicable in other ayahs too. For instance, when we are taking out all the ayahs, again we are using the same smartphone app. Surah Baqarah, ayat number 34, uses the word Aba. Again, we will click for more and we will check all these 13 ayahs with the use of the word Aba. So through the same process, if we look at the word Aba is normally translated as refused, deny or reject. So for instance, in this ayah, when we said to the Malaik, do sajda to Adam, they did sajda except for Iblis, who Aba. But if we take the word as refused in this ayah, this would be a clear contradiction of another Quranic ayah. Now remember the basic rule and reminder, there cannot be any contradiction. There cannot be any contradiction between any of the Quranic ayah because Quran is one consistent source. So for instance, as per this ayah, Allah is telling us that Malaik obey whatever Allah asks them to amr of. They cannot disobey Allah's amr. They cannot refuse Allah. They cannot um, um, reject or deny Allah's amr. They cannot do that. So let's discuss the ayahs and the meanings used as per those ayahs that we checked as per the step-by-step process. So for instance, in this particular ayat, indeed we offered the trust to the skies and the earth and the mountains, and they are obeying to carry it, and they fear from it. Now, if we translate the word as refuse in this ayah, can the skies and the earth and the mountains refuse Allah? Like, is it even possible that anything or anyone on the earth or the skies can refuse God Almighty? It seems that the word is not used here in the meaning of refusal or rejection by the earth, the skies, and the mountains, but in the meaning of the inability to carry the task. In the inability, like they could not do it, they were unable to do it. Let's look at another ayah. And we certainly showed him the Pharaoh, our ayat, but he kazaba, denied, refused, rejected, and aba. Now in this ayah, the word for refusal, denial, making fun of something is already there, which is the word kazaba. Thus here, because of his pride and arrogance, Pharaoh did not have the ability to amanu on the ayat of Allah, and therefore this aspect is mentioned through the word aba alongside with him kazaba, rejecting, denying, and ridiculing Allah's ayat. So these ayahs, when Allah says, means that is basically using in the same meaning. The word Abba is used in both of these ayahs in the same meaning. That Iblis, being one of the Malaik of Allah, had no choice except to carry out the duties as ordained to him by Allah. Since being Malaik of Nazalna, revelation of Shaitan, thoughts, elements, people, aspects, his job is to go against the mankind. And therefore, he could not, was unable to do sajda to Adam. The characteristics such as that he was mutakabbar, proud and arrogant, or kafir, the one who hides and conceals, fasik, works outside the boundaries of deen, and jinn, the one whom we cannot understand or comprehend, are all the traits and characteristics of Iblis, as well as those who are under the influence of khutawat of shaitan, the impacts of shaitan. So the word Aba basically means unable to or could not do it. Now let's discuss one other example, the example of the word deen. Again, we follow the same process. Step 1, take out all the ayahs. Step 2, check each and every of this ayah in order to understand the usage or the meaning in that particular ayat. Identify the shared common characteristics and cross-check for applicability. So if we take out all the ayahs of the word deen, this time we are using the website, which is corpus.quran. So in order to use the website, you go to Quran dictionary, click on the word dal, and then search for dal ye noon in order to arrive at all the ayahs. And when you click the word go, it will give you all the ayahs in different forms with the use of the word deen. We have to check all these forms. We have to check each and every ayah that comes under all of these different forms. So based on this process, the word deen is used in 4 different groups of meaning. So for instance, the first and the foremost, it's used in Quran in the meaning of rules, laws, regulations, instructions, guidelines. So for instance, here in Ayah 1276, it's used in the meaning of the laws of the Malik or the king. It's also used, so for instance in this ayah, it's used in the meaning of obligation, a debt which one is indebted for a specified or a limited period of time. It's also used in the Quran in the meaning of rewards and punishment, payback, recompense. And it's also used in the meaning of fitrat of Allah, So for instance here, so direct your wajah towards the Deen Hanafin, fitrat of Allah, which means all those desired characteristics that Allah would like to see in us, which are basically fitrat of Allah. So based on these four set of meanings, the word deen as defined by Quran itself is not religion. Deen are basically the rules, the regulations, the set of instructions, the commandment given to us by our Creator. It's a complete code of conduct. It's a way of life perfected by Allah, which defines the boundaries of our freedom and our restriction through these rules and regulations. We need to comply with these rules as per our covenant with Allah, to which we are indebted for a specified period of time during the temporary life here on earth until our death. On the basis of these rules, the compensation, rewards, and punishments are accorded in this world as well as in the Akhirah. These rules are in accordance with an alignment with fitrat of Allah, with the basic purpose of bringing out the very best in us through utilization of all our faculties and abilities, especially our intellect, to its maximum. Now, I would also like to identify how we need to fit in. So the word has four broad meanings, right? Which of these meanings would apply to which ayah? We have to keep in mind the waza, right? So in order to understand this particular concept, let's discuss the ayah 103, which is Surah Fatiha, Maliki Yawmuddin. So normally this word Maliki Yawmuddin is normally translated as Malik of the Day of Judgment as per normal translation. But the word is not Day of Judgment, because the word for it would have been Yawmul Akhirah, right? Had that Yawmul Akhirah, Maliki Yawmul Akhirah would have been mentioned, it would have been the Day of Judgment. But it's not used here. Plus, it is not aligned with the context, with the waza. So let's look at the waza. So the concept so far from ayat number 1 to 3 has to be kept in mind in order to understand which of these meanings, which one or which combination of these meanings should be applied. So the first ayat is Alhamd is for Allah, which is basically asking us to do hamd, praise out of deep conviction, knowledge and personal experience, which we cannot do unless and until we know Allah, with respect to the referred roles, and seek knowledge of Allah by personally experience Allah in these roles. So the next three aspects are basically defining the roles of Allah for which we need to do hamd of Allah. So the first of these roles of Allah is the Rabbul Alameen. That is, Allah is the one who is carrying out the process of Rububiyyat for each and every one and everything in the world. The next aspect is Allah is Rahman and Rahim, the source of Rahmat in all its form, with Rahman depicting this as the best of the best in terms of the peak of the source applicable for each and everyone regardless of their deeds and iman, and Rahim depicting a privilege applicable only for those who are on the righteous path. So these two aspects, these are just two aspects of Allah on the basis of which we need to do hamd of. The third aspect is then defined in the phrase Maliki Yawmuddin. It's another role of Allah as Malik of the Yawm of Deen. It's not talking about some distant future. It's not talking about the Day of Judgment wherein Allah is the master, the authority. The ayah is also depicting the role of Allah which we need to personally experience and seek knowledge of, which is Allah as the master, the sovereign, the authority of every time period which we spend as per deen. The basic idea is for us to realize that each and every day that we spend as per deen, the Malik of that day is Allah. It's not just some distant day of judgment and accountability that Allah is talking about, which we cannot personally experience right now. It's talking about each and every day of our life, right here, right now, every moment that we live in accordance with deen, because for that particular moment, the Malik, the being who is all powerful, the master, the sovereign, is Allah. So thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Um, um, so we are going to go into the question answer session. Please note that this session will also be recorded. Therefore, you can switch off your video if you're not comfortable. During the discussion, please, one person talks at a time. Please respect each other's views, opinions, and perspective. Please avoid detailed comments and stick to question only so as to allow addressing the queries. Please keep your questions short and concise so everyone can participate. For everyone or anyone who is not able to ask or who is more comfortable can also contact us with your questions and comments at either you can email us at infowaqt@gmail.com or you can contact us via the contact us website link from our website. Thank you so much.